to Momentum in Real Estate, your guide to success in the dynamic world of real estate. I'm Cory Wolf.
And I'm Kristin James. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, we're here to help you reach new heights.
Success in real estate comes from learning, growing, and serving others.
Join us as we dive into strategies for lead generation, marketing, market trends, and client relationships.
Get ready to ignite your momentum and achieve your goals in real estate.
Let's dive in and unlock your full potential.
This is Momentum in Real Estate.
Welcome to today's episode. We're thrilled to have Erica Carter-Walden, a distinguished real estate broker specializing in single-family, multifamily residential, and multifamily commercial sales. With a background in probate law and over 20 years as a licensed attorney in California, Erica brings a unique blend of expertise to her clients in Los Angeles, Culver City, Inglewood, Carson, and surrounding areas. Erica's impressive career includes 5 years as a real estate developer, excelling as an entitlement specialist, plan expediter, project manager, and construction liaison. She also holds two degrees in psychology, applying her deep understanding of clients' needs to her real estate transactions. Following the passing of her father in 2017, Erica's personal experience managing a loved one's estate has given her profound empathy and insight, which she leverages to provide compassionate support to personal representatives during difficult times. Welcome to the podcast, Erica.
Wow, I sound impressive.
You are impressive. Thank you for being here, Erica. We so appreciate your time. We know you're a busy lady, so thank you so much. Can you kind of describe to us your real estate journey and how you got to where you are today?
So, like most people, I had a very meandering walk. I went to law school, and in the middle of law school, I was like, I don't think I want to do this. But I had all the student loan debt already accumulated, and I then went to practice, and I actually did like the practice. I liked working with my clients. I love the law, but I did a lot of litigation, and that the wear and tear on you in litigation is challenging. And so I did ultimately find trust and estates and probate law toward the end of my practice. I did take a little bit of a break. So I took a break and went to work for a developer. That's where I got the entitlement experience. Loved that. And then the world crashed. The market crashed, right? So I've lived through a market crash, almost like a depression, and a pandemic. I think I could write a book. So I then came back to practice law, had a kid, and then practiced some more law, taught some psychology, then went back to law again. And then when I found probate and trust and estate sales, it really was a great match for my personality. My natural gift is help. When I was told that as a younger person, I was like, that gift is terrible. I want to sing. I want prophecy. I want something. I don't want helps. That's like the pinky toe of gifts. Like, who wants that one? But if you've ever stubbed your pinky toe, you know how important it is. So,
amen.
I loved it, embraced it, just really could walk my clients through. I mother my clients a little bit. I just kind of shepherd them through the process. I really am very good at explaining complex ideas and bringing them to whatever knowledge level you are. And so in the middle of a very, very long trust litigation, my father passed away, and I just didn't have any more fight really in me. And I was looking for a way to be able to help my clients and have some joy at the end of the transaction. So when you are in litigation or even in a contract dispute as a lawyer, at the end, people are just exhausted, angry, sometimes bitter. They may be relieved, but nobody's really happy. But when you sell a house for someone and get them out of either a financial bind or closing someone's estate or moving on, downsizing or moving up to their next larger house, they're happy. If you're helping someone buy an investment property or their first time home or a home, that's moving up and transitioning, they are excited. So at the end of the transaction, people are inviting me to weddings. They're inviting me to baby showers.
You're part of the family.
Yes, you have built a relationship because you've worked together on this really important thing that's gotten them something that they've always wanted or something that has made a relief in their life. And I wanted to just figure out how to do that, not practicing law. So what really happened, and I find that in my life, actually things happen for a reason and I see it a lot. So something will happen and then you'll like, why did that happen? And then right after it, you'll understand why. So I was on another case while I was on this major trust litigation, and I helped that family resolve their trust dispute. But we had to sell a commercial property. And so we were working with the real estate team to do that. I was like, I like what they do. What does your day look like? So that's always a really good question when you're asking someone about their job or about their practice, whether it's law, whether it's real estate, whatever it is, what does your day look like? Because things can look nice in print, but the day-to-day activities may not fit with your lifestyle. So I said,
So
what does
well
your day
said.
look like? How do you do this? And they said, we think you would be a great part of our team, because I told them I was looking to transition. And I just really did an informational interview and then dove over. So my transition was really easy, but it's really a natural fit because real estate is contracts. And I can read a contract, I can negotiate a contract, I can explain a contract, which I find is one of the things that differentiates me from other agents, is that I was on a call with a client explaining a contract, and I was sitting with a friend of mine in her brand new home. She had bought it before I actually became a real estate agent. And she's like, my agent didn't explain any of those things. But why not? You're signing a contract. This is a lot of money, and you don't understand what you're signing. What is happening? So I find that that is one of the things that really sets me apart, is that you could ask me about any part of the contract. I don't think anything is off limits. In California, you're spending at least $500,000 to find a decent property. And so you should know what you're doing.
So well
Absolutely.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Erica, tell us a bit of your brokerage history. Have you been with the same brokerage since you got your license? Have you bounced around? Give us that background.
Okay. So I jumped ship. We just heard about that. And I went to a commercial team. So it was 4 ladies, and we were phenomenal. We were cute. We knew we're smart. We knew what we were doing. Our clients loved us. And I stayed there for probably about 18 months right before. So I started real estate in 2018 when everybody's riding high. Woo! Anybody could sell real estate. You get a house, you get a house, you can buy an apartment, you can buy an apartment. And what we figured out is that I had a real niche for probate. And so I started cultivating relationships with attorneys that were in trust and estates, probate, because I speak the language. And so we could speak kind of a shorthand because I knew what was coming. Also, the clients could call and ask me questions just about the process. I do never get involved in specific case strategy. That is the lawyer's job, and I don't want to do that anymore. But I can give them just general advice about this is what happens generally in the probate process. And so that keeps the lawyer from having to answer all those questions and billing the client. And again, I stay away from case strategy, but just the overall process. So I stayed there for a little while, but then I realized that my practice of probate and trust sales was more heavily single family or multifamily, but like 1 to 4 units, maybe 5. And so we were selling commercial buildings. And so it was a natural transition. Everybody kind of had a natural transition at that point. So we all separated. We still get together. I love those ladies, but it was time to move on. And on a transaction, helping my friends buy a house. And the agent on the other side said, you should work with us. And it was really a good fit because they were a boutique brokerage. And so working on a team, you don't necessarily know all of the process because there's always somebody else that knows it. So our transaction coordinator was like, I'll handle that. I got that. I can do that. So there were gaps in my learning and gaps in my knowledge that were filled when I had to go do this really on my own as a solo agent. And it was a nice fit for me at this boutique brokerage. But then I just really got my legs under me, started selling and selling and selling. And I wanted to be able to go to a place that had growth opportunities. So I wanted to move up my price point because what you will know about real estate is that you're going to work hard on a $500,000 transaction, and you're going to work hard on a $10 million transaction. And so it's nice to do the same kind of effort and get paid a little bit more money or a lot more money. So I am now with Compass and I love it here. The systems and tools really make it easy for you to work on behalf of your clients, for you to advertise, for you to get them what they need, for you to market their properties effectively. But they also have, if you want to move up in price point, they are going to help you do that. And they have the capacity to do that. And I find that that is really a progression for a lot of agents. I didn't start at 18 where you can start. You know, I went to law school and my friend started real estate. She has more money than I do, but I'm trying to catch up with her. So you start out and you get your training. You work on a team, you figure out your sales knowledge, you get your confidence, you figure out where in the city you want to work. LA is huge. It's humongous. And from one neighborhood to the next, and sometimes if you cross a major street, it's a completely different market. And so you figure out where you feel comfortable, you figure out where you know the market, because you have to know what you're talking about when you're selling a property. These are really, really expensive ventures. And this really means a lot to someone. This is their home, or this is the home that they want to buy. And so you want to be very informed about it. And so you spend your early years figuring that out. And then you go places where you can then increase your knowledge and increase your skills. Some people stay at the same place. They're comfortable. They find their fit. I have a curious mind and I'm a lifelong learner. And so I always want to go where I can learn more, get more experience, and just be better informed and be a better resource to my client.
So good. You are such a good speaker, first of all. I'm like, I could just listen to you talk this whole entire time.
My child would not agree. Stop talking, lady. Stop talking, lady. I already know it. I have a new teenager. I have a 13-year-old. And in case you didn't know, when you turn 13, you know everything. There's nothing else to know. There's nothing else.
Yep, exactly. Totally. So I want to know a little bit more about your business. So it sounds like you did commercial. So there's twofold question here. So first, do you still do commercial? And then second, what percentage of your business is probate and estate sales right now? And are you just doing residential? Tell us a little bit about your business.
So I am actually trying to transition a little bit. See, I'm always moving. I'm looking to do more in the luxury market. Currently, I am working, I do a lot of, I call them deceased party sales because it's some probate and some trust sales. And so in California, if you do not have a trust, you are bound for probate court. I mean, there are a couple of exceptions, you know, if you have under a certain dollar amount in assets, and then there's a couple of things that you can draft. But as a blanket statement, generalizing everything, with a will, in some states it's very different. So I think in Boston it's not the same, but that's one place I know that's not the same. But in California, if you have a will, you're going to probate court. So I do a lot of deceased party sales, and some of them are not probate, some of them are just trust sales. I help a lot of first-time home buyers, but in my estate sales practice, I do sell commercial buildings. And so when I sell commercial buildings, so I sold a 14-unit building last year. When I do that, I partner with an agent who just does commercial because they have access to platforms that I don't have as someone who primarily sells residential. And so again, I'm not going to I can do it, but I want my clients to have the best resources possible. So I partner, we have a co-listing, and they market on their commercial platforms. I market on the other platforms. I do a lot of social. So I do still sell commercial, but it's usually at this stage because I don't sell a lot with a partner. And I do a lot of, so I'll make some distinctions here. Single family, obviously, is just one house. Multifamily can be duplex, triplex, 4-unit. Once it's 5 or more units, it's considered commercial. So I sell duplexes quite a bit, triplex quite a bit. I don't need to bring in a commercial agent for that because it's multifamily residential 4 or less units. So I sell a lot of those. I do help, like I said, a lot of first-time home buyers, My son has been a great resource for me because at his school, people want to buy a house. And so they're always saying, well, how can I buy a house? I don't think I can buy a house. Like, you can do anything you want to. We just need to make a plan. You can't buy a house tomorrow necessarily. I don't know very many people who can, but we can make a plan. And it's so gratifying. Oh my gosh, it's so gratifying when someone who talked to you 3 years ago with an idea that they might be able to do this, and then you hand them the keys. Oh, handing the keys is my favorite part. We do. It's going to date me. Anybody that's not on the fourth row of life, might be like, you're an old lady. But I love to do a boomerang and get the kids involved, and then they can post it. Their families are excited and they're happy. That is my ultimate favorite part of helping buyers. They're finding the house is one thing, but handing them the keys and saying, this is yours. This belongs to you. Nobody can if you don't pay the mortgage, they can kick you out. But if you pay the mortgage, this is your house. What? You have to now fix things on your own. There's no landlord to call. So there's that.
I love that. I want to expand a bit on Cory's question, just getting into the nuts and bolts of your business. But you mentioned like partnering with attorneys for some of your probate and trust business. Where else are you getting business from? Like, what are your lead generation strategies? Where are you finding those first time home buyers? You mentioned your child's school, but just give us a kind of the flavor of where you find your various leads.
I obviously am not shy. So I find my leads wherever I can. I don't do a lot of postcarding. I'm just not consistent with it. I was pre-pandemic doing a lot of door knocking. So we find your neighborhood, and that's what the boutique brokerage taught. They were very big in getting out and finding your neighborhood and knocking on doors and letting people know, hey, I'm here. How can I help you? I have not done a lot of that since the pandemic. I do need to do some more of that so it helps lose weight. So walking helps you with that. So that's a motivation right there. Get money, lose weight. So I'm starting to implement more of that now that we have no rain. LA has been floating off the map. So it's been raining. So door knocking. Randomly, I was at the Tesla dealer. I got a Tesla, but I was, I guess, putting my name on the wait list, and I was talking to a rep there, and he was asking me what I did. And I said, oh, I sell real estate. He's like, oh yeah, my wife and I are looking to buy a house, but the guy that we were working with we went to see a house and he didn't have the key to get in. And so I carry my super lock key on my actual keychain. It's like, you want to see a house right now? Let's go. And it was just a joke. And he was like, for real? I was like, yes, call me. Here's my number. I'll meet with you and your wife. Do you have a lender? Yes, we have a lender. Okay, connect me with your lender. I connected with the lender, got their pre-approval, and we were out looking for houses in 2 weeks. We got all the paperwork together, had to get their schedules coordinated. And no, we were out looking for houses immediately. I was like, I'm always ready. You want to buy a house? Let's go. Ready. So
that is so awesome.
Talking, door knocking, some postcards. I do a lot of social, and then I have really great referrals from past clients. So.
And do you get business from your lawyer friends that you were
mentioning?
I do. Okay.
I do.
Awesome.
So a couple of things. I did cold call a couple of lawyers that are now like business people, people that give me business routinely. So what's very funny is that everybody says they can sell probate. Everybody. I have a license. I can do a probate. It's not that simple. These are very, very intricate transactions in many ways. And one of the ways that people don't talk about, it's very emotionally intricate because families don't necessarily get along with each other. The decision maker on paper may have people in the background that are talking.
Mm-hmm.
That happens on many transactions, but it's really emotional sometimes because then they may feel guilty and feel like they have to do what the person says for whatever reason. And I always say the courts can rule and decide on things that are legal. We can't manage emotional and social and psychological things, but you have to do that in a probate. Sometimes family members are just not going to get along with each other. They're just going to be hostile to each other. So it's up to you to be the neutral party and kind of mediate. So I cold called there's two lawyers in particular I'm thinking about right now. And they were both very like, oh, another real estate agent who thinks they can do probate. Like, who are you? Why is the client calling you? What, they're very like, lawyers don't really like this because a lot of agents don't necessarily know. And then the lawyer ends up having to do and educate, and they don't have time for that. As somebody who had to bill, I don't have time to tell you how to do your job. So I lead with, hey, I am a lawyer and I did probate and trust sales. I know what I'm doing. Here are the transactions that I've done. And I know the language, I know this. I promise you will not have to do my job. And they usually say, oh, for on these two, they're like, okay, well, she sounds okay. Though I'm highly Googleable, so you can Google me. And so they let me go on a first go round with each of them, said okay to those clients. And now one of them, they do have clients with properties in LA. Their office is in Palmdale, Lancaster area. So anytime they get a client with a sale in LA, they're like, talk to her, because we know she's not, we know she can handle complex transactions. She's going to keep us informed, and she's not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize anything. So from those cold calls, I was able to get business and explain, hey, I do know what I'm doing. Yes, I'll keep you informed. No, I'm not trying to be the lawyer. I have a license. If I wanted to be a lawyer, I would go back and do that. But I think we can make a great partnership. So I'm looking to get more referrals. I'm looking to do more in the trust and estate space. So I'm meeting with more lawyers now, getting back involved in the legal community with bar associations. And because again, I'm still licensed and I have to get my CLE credit anyway, so I can network with those lawyers. It also helps me, again, stay informed with trends and things that are coming up in the trust and estate world, because I always, like I said, I mother my clients. So at the end of a probate transaction, I look at them and I say, was this painful? Yes, it was. Was this highly emotional? Yes, it was. Do you want to do this to your children? No. Okay, then go talk to this lawyer and put together your estate plan, because nobody wants to do this. Being someone's personal representative and administrator, executor, even trustee, it's a lot of work. You have your own life.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I refer the business right back to the lawyers. Like, here, now we can do something fun. We can plan how you want your life and your resources to help the next generation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so good. So well said. Something I really was thinking about while you were talking about lead generation was you said the word consistency. And we actually were on a coaching call earlier this morning and we were talking about that exact thing. That is like such a key in whatever lead generation tool you pick, because I think oftentimes realtors are like, oh, scroll, look at that. Ooh, I want to do that. I want to go knock on doors. And hearing you, like even hearing you speak, it is very motivating. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But I also realize like, nope, I need to stick to my events and open houses. That's what I like to do.
Yep. It's very much toddler with shiny toy.
Yes.
It's like, oh, shiny. I'll try that. Oh, that's working for Cory. Shiny toy. Oh, shiny toy. And then you do nothing because you're just all over the place, and you have door knocked on Tuesday. You decided, oh, it's too hot. I'm going to do postcards on this day. Oh, I'm going to go to a broker's open on the, like, you're just all over the place.
Yeah.
Pick something that you can be consistent with.
Yes.
And then make it a priority. I used to have a sticker on my computer that said, mind your business. And it's twofold. Stay out of other people's business and then work your business.
Yeah. Because what we've learned is anything can work. It's whatever you're going to do consistently. So find what your lane is, find what works for your gifting, your DNA, your personality, and go after it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I just keep thinking about, with that consistency and the changing market that we're dealing with currently, like what kinds of things would you say, even to like a veteran realtor, like what words of advice would you have?
Hold on to your hats. Yeah. So what I've been telling people, and I was really kind of the only person in my circle that was telling people this, is people were like, oh, the interest rates are going to go down. Oh, the interest rates are going to go down. And I consistently said, they're not going anywhere until we get a new president, or get whoever the next president is. But if it's the same president or if it's a different president, it doesn't matter. Whoever, until this election passes, we're not getting the drop in interest rates. The Fed did signal that they were going to do a drop, but I don't know what that means. but I know that we're not going to go back to the 2% that we had, but I know that we're not going to stay here. But I know that there's so much, not volatility, but uncertainty. So just right now, we have to just take the clients as they come. The have to sells, the have to buys are always in play. They're always in play. I would also say if you got into real estate in 2018 like I did, but do not have the skills, you're going to have a rough time because now is the time for people who have sales skills, who are strong in communication, who are not transaction based, but relationship based. People are going to sense that you are out for money. They are going to sense that you're disingenuous and they're not going to want to work with you. When the market was all over the place, they didn't care who they work with. Just give me a house. Just sell my house for trillions of dollars. I don't care. Just sell it. Make it happen. And if you didn't have skills, it didn't matter. As long as you had the listing, you had 8 million people coming to buy the house. And a lot of those people were very rude to other people. And I remember that. And so do other people. And so I'm not going to necessarily work with you because you're not kind. And I don't want to work with somebody and be in a transaction for 30 to 45 days, sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. I just don't want to be in a relationship with somebody. And you are, make no mistake, you are in a relationship with someone for that long. I just don't want to work with you if you're unkind. So being pleasant, communicative, knowledgeable, you need sales skills. We're getting a new RPA. Actually, I think we're getting a new listing agreement in California. And there's definitely some things because California with insurance, they don't want to insure because we have fires, we have earthquakes. So people are having a really challenging time getting insurance. So being knowledgeable about those trends, being knowledgeable about things that buyers were not able to ask for, they're asking for now. They're asking for rate buy down. And it's not because necessarily that they're greedy, but they cannot afford the house at this interest rate. And if you need to sell this house, you need to understand that this is not just a negotiation tool. Sometimes it's the necessity to close a deal. You are learning things like you may have to put some money into the house now to sell it to an end user buyer and not just an investor. Because investors are getting more and more and more smelling blood in the water because they know that people can't necessarily buy because of the interest rate or they can't afford to fix up. And so they're saying, oh, we have all of these choices now. So you may have to put in some and educate your sellers. You may need to do a few of these things. Compass has a great resource called Concierge that allows you to fix up the house and sell it for a higher amount. You have to also just have conversations with your buyers about there's not a whole lot that's in the market right now. And you may need to get a renovation loan. What is a renovation loan? Glad you asked. There are different ways to say, okay, well, I want to live in this neighborhood. So does everybody else. And you have to pay to live in that neighborhood unless you're willing to buy a house that maybe needs some work. And you may be able to do that through a conventional loan. They have renovation conventional loans. You may be able to do it through FHA. But that may be the way that you get into this neighborhood. Or you may say, okay, well, there's similar houses in this zip code. You can start there and then get used to being a homeowner and then move. We can talk in a couple of years or a few years to be able to move you into this other. But those are dialogues that you're having to have right now because money is not cheap anymore. It's just not. And you are paying a lot. You're having to put a lot down. I talk to my buyers or potential buyers also. It's not just the down payment. You have closing costs and you have homeowners insurance and you have to fix things that break because it's now your house. You don't get to call a landlord. So all these things that you need to start saving toward. Yes, there are programs that help with closing costs, but usually they run out of money at a certain point in the year. They're only funded to a certain amount. And then depending on the program, the sellers may or may not want to work with you because it may be a little bit, their timing may be like, I can't wait that long for you to close this. I need somebody who's going to close. So these are all conversations. This is all being knowledgeable. This is all being a resource. And I generally point them back to the lender for those types of conversations, because the lender is hopefully doing the same thing that I'm doing on the market, in the real estate market. They're on the calls, they're figuring out this is the best program, this is the best program for the client. So that's a long-winded answer, which is typical for me, but that's
no, it's so good, Erica, because it's all the things that like we had in mind to ask you about, and you just went there. So I love how it unfolded. But I think as we move towards the end of our time, because I know we all have busy days and things to get to, but I'd love if you'd be willing to share two parts. Like, one, give us a sense of what your production volume has been just over the last couple of years. And then what's your goal for this year? Either transactions or, a GCI goal. Like, just give us a sense of what your business looks like. And obviously you're in a very different market than we are here in Western North Carolina. But yeah, we just love some insight into kind of the granular parts of your business.
so last year was really challenging for me. My mom was in and out of the hospital. I had some other things going on personally. But what was happening that I didn't have to worry about is I was selling real estate. So 2021, 22, 23, I've been rolling. I've been selling quite a bit. So quite a bit in California. It's different than quite a bit in other states. So I could sell 12 properties here and make $250,000 net versus other places where you have to sell a whole lot more. So I was selling a lot of properties in those 3 years. This year, 2024, I didn't do a lot, as we're talking about what your consistency needs to be. I didn't do a lot of farming. I didn't do a lot of feeding the pipeline. And so I am paying for that now. So I luckily have transactions. I have sold, I've only closed a couple this year, but I have 3 in escrow now. I have 1 that's getting ready to list, and then, we'll see what happens after that. But I am paying for not farming and for not minding my business last year. So I'm spending this year resetting, retooling. As I said earlier, everything happens for a reason. So because I'm also looking to move up in price point, I'm doing a lot of investments in going to meet with agents and brokers opens for houses in neighborhoods that can garner the higher price point, seeing if they want me to, or if they're willing to let me set up open house for them in that neighborhood. I'm doing marketing, I'm doing podcasts, I'm getting my word out, getting the word out that way. I'm joining bar associations or rejoining bar associations. So I'm retooling and rebranding to be able to move up into the higher price point. So I'm using this downtime, like I said, I'm going back door knocking. Like I have to get back out there. So it is a cautionary tale that when business is rolling, you don't just rest on your laurels. You have to actually keep the business going and keep maintaining the business. So this year, my sales are going to be down if I don't stuff going. Luckily, at the end of last year, I closed a $2 million. Yeah, it was a little over $2 million transaction. So that kept the tide going for a while. And then I closed a couple of things. I have 3 things in escrow. I won't be homeless, but I'm definitely not going to make as much money as I did in the last 3 years without some real dig deep. And so I'm planting the seeds now for 2025, 2026, so that I can keep going. But just to be very honest, yes, success does not show up and knock on your door. Say, hey, I'm here. You have to go out and do things. And these are the things that I'm teaching my child also. Like he hates working open houses now. When he was little, he thought it was fun. Now he's like, he's a curmudgeon. But I'm like, you don't get Roblox money and Nikes, and I'm cute, but not that cute. Like things don't show up on the doorstep. Like you have, these things actually, there is a benefit to working, and that translates into being able to have housing, lights, food, clothing, shelter. And so I have to remember that. And I probably need to get the sticker again to my business because, you can rest on your laurels, and it's sunny in California and it's pretty and you want to go to the beach and you want to hang out, but you actually need to mind your business.
That's really good. Yeah.
It's so true too. When you have being busy and you have so many transactions going, it's the first thing to fall off. And
Mhm.
it's so important as we move into this changing market, this continuing to change market and the election and all of that, to really, really focus on feeding. I love what you said, feeding your pipeline. Well, with that, Erica, thank you so much for being here. I got so much from you. I was like vigorously typing some notes. So we really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Momentum in Real Estate. We hope you found valuable insights and strategies to propel your real estate journey forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates with you. Remember, success in real estate is about continuous learning, growth, and serving others. Keep that momentum going and watch your business thrive.
Until next time, keep pushing forward and bringing your real estate dreams to life.
This is Cory Wall
and Kristin James signing off from Momentum in Real Estate.